What makes a person's faith even stronger is when it talks about the clouds. It says the clouds are like mountains, mountains of hail. It says they look like mountains from above. From below, you can't see that shape. You'd have to be above the clouds. So whoever sent that verse sent it from above, giving information about the top of the clouds. Or when it talks about clouds and rain, it says until they carry heavy clouds. It says it carries those heavy clouds. I just learned this, and indeed, if you think about it, in any area where it rains, if you put out a tarp and collect the rain, how many tons, how many millions of tons of rain have fallen? And all that rain was above me. It was all hanging over my head. And then inside the clouds, I mean, wow, when I fly through clouds in a plane, it's just like mist. But now science says you can search for this yourselves, that a few square meters can weigh 7,000 tons, 700,000 tons, 1,000,000 tons. Those clouds weigh that many tons. The clouds are that heavy. So, who told the prophet in that book, until they carry heavy clouds? Who said those clouds are heavy? It's been saying this for 1400 years. It says carried, meaning transported. Until they carry heavy clouds, we drive them to a dead land. It says the rain falls on dry land, a place that is dead with no life. No, it doesn't say in the water. It doesn't rain it in the water. It rains it on dry land. Now look, 73% of the world is water, and of the remaining 27%, 5 is ice, leaving about 21 or 22%. 20% is dry land, a few continents, whether it's 7 or 9 now, or just a few pieces of land in the middle of those oceans, those waters. God says the water goes and rains on the dry lands. Well, if there wasn't a driver, how would that water go and rain there via those clouds? And science also says that indeed, 95% of rain falls on dry land. If it rains over the sea, it's because the wind has driven it there. When it falls, it lands in those seas. Otherwise, who gives this information? Why would I fool myself? Only the creator of mankind gives this information. Why else would I deceive myself? These are things that are being discovered, my friend. These are things that academic people think about. Or consider when God says, like a deep sea covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds, darknesses one above another. It says like a deep sea. That sea has waves upon waves. It says there are waves inside the sea, under the ocean. Those waves, you don't see waves until you go down 70 or 80 meters. Just as there are waves on the surface, it says inside the sea, deep down, there are waves of water. Then it says waves upon waves. It says there are waves upon waves deep in the oceans. Yes. Then it says above which are clouds. It says then in that deep sea, if there are clouds, it's dark. The darkness of clouds, the darkness of waters. Then it says, as you go down, darkness upon darkness. It says darkness upon darkness. It says that person down there, if he stretches out his hand, look, it's visible here. It says if he puts his hand out, he cannot see it. It's that dark under the sea. Now tell me, science says that from 1,000 to 1,500 meters, the darkness begins. Modern science and divers have only just discovered this. The prophet didn't even swim in his time. So who told him the deep sea was that dark? Unless a person is trained in diving, tell me, 1,400 years ago, who could have reached a depth of 1,000 meters under the sea? No one.